Hello, friends. I'm Dr. Tamim. I'm here with Dr. Aishwarya. She has secured a 13th rank in the recently conducted INI CET. So, please introduce yourself. Which college are you from?
Thank you, sir. Good morning. I'm Dr. Aishwarya Shashi. I have done my undergraduation in St. John's Medical College, Bangalore, and I've got the rank 13 in INICT this year. I was a foundation batch student of Dr. Bhatia Medical Institute.
So, you finished your internship this Feb?
Yes, sir. I finished my internship towards the mid-Feb 2021.
21, right. So, I think after that you were eligible for NEET. So, you gave the NEET exam?
Yes, sir. I gave the previous INICT and the NEET this
And
time.
how your ranks in that?
In the INICT, I got a rank of 1169, and in the recent NEET, I got a rank of 1586.
Great. I think phenomenal from those ranks around 1000 plus to coming to 13 in INICT now. I think it's just remarkable. So, Aishwarya, I think all those who are listening to this will definitely want to know what is the secret of cracking this exam and how did you prepare? So, anything you can contribute to this would be welcome.
Yes.
So, let's start with when did you really start thinking about entrance exams and when did you really seriously plan for preparation?
So I began my journey towards the beginning of third year. Once I was done with my second year, I was advised by my seniors and family members that a good time to start is third year, because it's a year where you have not only the time to explore academics and extracurriculars, but you also have some spare time to give some consideration for the PG entrances. So I joined the foundation batch of Bhatia. Once I started, I was there for the third year and the final year. And by this time, I could complete all the 19 subjects to at least attend the classes and get the notes of those subjects. And while I advise everybody to actually go through those notes at that stage itself, I couldn't do that. And I began my serious preparation after my internship ended towards the end of March. So during my internship, I couldn't really give too much attention to my PG preparation because my internship was pretty hectic and we had COVID duties and everything. So I began my preparation by March end. And by August, I was able to complete one reading of all the subjects. And before the INICT November, I was able to do 2 revisions of my notes and all the other material.
I think it's really remarkable. Immediately after you finished internship, you've been able to get through now. So, Aishwarya, I think you said you attended our 2-year foundation course.
Yes, sir.
In that time, what should the students do? I think for you also, the travel time and all in Bangalore, how did you handle that?
So actually the travel time was the most fun part because we used to go as a group of 5-6 of us. So that was actually a very de-stressing time to just, have that time to spend and reach the coaching institute all together. So I think it's good to get some friends with you when you go, and that definitely enriches your journey. And I think at that stage, more than, perfection, you should just be glad that you showed up. So you're already starting early. So that's a very good thing. And don't be stressed about how much of your notes you can complete at that stage. Just focus on listening to the classes and, being there. Because half the job is done by just listening to the classes and actively learning instead of just passively, even if you actually sit passively, you can still absorb something. So I felt it was actually very beneficial for me, both for my university exams as well as for my entrance preparation. And that way I was able to attend most of the classes and I got notes for most of the subjects. And along with the notes, I also got some concepts very solid. And while it's advisable to do MCQs at that stage itself, again, I was not the ideal student, so I didn't do that. But what I did do was that, in the back of my mind, I was registering, okay, they taught this topic, it's probably important. And when I was reading my standard textbooks, it was kind of consolidated that way. So I think that's the ideal stage to not only focus on PG preparation, because you should be getting your basics solid at that stage. So you should be attending clinics regularly, you should be reading your good textbooks and, building your knowledge instead of reading guidebooks or anything like that. And your notes can be a supplement at that point, but they can't be your primary source during your UG. So I feel that's quite important.
Great. So you were talking that you started your MCQs late. So when was your first grand test you gave? How did you perform in that? And then in the most recent grand test, how was your performance?
So I gave my first grand test even before I started preparing. That was my baseline grand test. Actually, I didn't want to do it. My sister convinced me to do it. She was like, if you don't know where you are, how do you know where you'll go? So I gave my first grand test in, again, March, towards the mid of March. And I think I got a rank of around 36,000 and a percentage of, I think, 34% or something. I was like, okay, I have a long way to go. So that, and in my last test, I think I was able to get around 76% and I got a rank of 134.
Okay.
So that was my journey.
Great. I think her sister she was mentioning. This is the Dr. Archana Shashi. I think she's become a legendary student. I was having the good fortune of taking her interview also some years back, and I think she had got first rank. But when I was talking to her, I felt that she was kind of something above that first rank. You see so many first rank students, but she was something extraordinary. So I think you have a very good environment also around you, and I think your sister also to guide you. That's really remarkable.
Yes.
If a student who's undergraduate now, I mean, what advice would you give? Like any mistakes you committed that you would say, "Okay, don't do this. This is the correct way," or anything. Any advice you can give for the people who are in the second year pre-final, that is third year?
Okay, so I think the most important at that stage is to not get lost, because that's a stage where you won't feel like studying. You'll have so many other things, and it's not that you should spend your undergraduation only studying, because that's a time when you should really explore all your talents and really discover yourself. But in addition, you should also make sure you keep some time to read every day. So second year especially is such an important year. I wish I'd known how important it was, because if you think about it, half the questions will just get solved by a good knowledge of pathology, pharmacology and micro. I mean, of course, forensic also. But yeah, those three subjects are just core to every single subject in final year and beyond. So if you just make your basics solid at that point, you can actually do a lot later, even if you don't revise your previous subjects. So I would really recommend reading Robbins for Pathology. It's an excellent book, and I think you discover more nuances of it as you do it further also. Even in my entrance preparation, sometimes I would go back to it, and it was just like really nice to read it all through. And even for the other subjects, if you read your standard textbooks, it really helps. So that is one advice I would like to give. And don't get lost in entrance preparation in your second and third year itself, because if you miss out on learning your basics at that time, you will never learn them. And attend your clinics religiously. That is one thing I never compromised on, because whatever other engagements I had or anything else, I would make sure I attended all my clinical postings, and I would volunteer to take cases. And that is actually a really big learning point for me. I think you learn the best when you see patients with certain conditions, and that stays with you. Like I had a child with B-cell ALL in my internship, and I was directly taking care of him. And that way the regimen was just sorted for me. I didn't have to put any effort to learn that. So those kind of things really help.
Great. I think St. John's also gives you a very good learning platform, and the clinics are really very good.
Yes, sir.
I happened to work there in the MICU for quite some time. Okay. So I think it's really remarkable. I think even your internship is quite hectic over there, isn't it?
Yes, sir, it was. And with COVID duties also it was. But I felt I learned a lot during my internship, like especially basic things like putting an IV line and, not even intubation, just, being around monitoring a patient. Those are also really, really important things. And I feel if you learn those things, a lot of things are sorted for you, not just for entrance, but your general career as a doctor is also sorted. So I'm very, very grateful to St. John's for all that they gave me.
Great. So in the BMCI, what faculties you thought really stood out, which really helped you and motivated you?
So I have to definitely mention you, because your medicine classes were just excellent. And I think being in Bangalore, we had the privilege of having many of your classes. So I think we had maybe 5-6 of your classes over different weeks. And you taught us each system so beautifully, and not just the concepts, even the notes are so clear and so comprehensive. And I was able to revise the whole of medicine in 4 to 5 hours, which I don't think would have been possible if I didn't have those notes. And nothing was missing, like I didn't really have to add anything to them. So medicine was definitely one game changer. Then apart from that, radiology was very good with Dr. Rajat. And even his notes were very clear and very comprehensive for radio, along with images and everything. I would also like to thank Dr. Apoor for his really comprehensive orthopedics class, and Dr. Nazir, who was the microbiology faculty as well. And Dr. Ashwini's anatomy notes are just like really, really good, because those kind of diagrams and those kind of concepts you won't get anywhere else. So I really felt he really changed my perspective about anatomy, which was, I didn't really give so much importance to it in my first year. And when he taught me, it just opened my eyes to what anatomy really is and how to study anatomy more than anything else.
Great. I think you've given a very good overview of how somebody should prepare for these exams. Any final words of advice?
I think every aspirant should make it a point to do tests very regularly, and you should never be scared to do a test. Like I had that in the initial phase. I was like, I'm stuck at 50%. What do I do now? How do I improve myself? But it's okay. Just keep doing it. What matters is that you show up every day. that consistency is something I actually learned only now, because I wasn't a very consistent student during my undergraduation. So I feel apart from, just knowledge and everything else, this entrance journey really teaches you a lot of life skills. It teaches you discipline, it teaches you consistency, and those will definitely help you in your career. So don't look at it as a burden. Enjoy the journey, because you're ultimately learning things that really help you as a doctor. And it's not like, it's not like UG entrances where, you can do physics and then leave it. It's like all these subjects do play a part in the doctor you become, and you should let this journey enrich you and, do the best that you can. So I think everyone should do that, and they'll definitely do well.
Great. I think it was a privilege to record your elder sister, Dr. Archana Sasi's interview also, and I feel the same with you. So it's been great. I hope you have a very good career, and I think you're going to be joining your sister. She's still in AIMS, isn't it?
Yes, sir. She's
Right. So the best wishes to you, and I hope you have a very, very good career in your future.
Thank you so much, and thank you for all the support Bhatia gave me.
Thank you so much.